Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. Crusty Old Crow back again to do another one of the tactical perspective videos on the G.I. Joe Classified series. This one, I'm not going to be doing a review of an actual toy set. That's going to be the next video. I've got it up there. We're going to be doing the steel, whatever, the steel core, not steel brigade, in my next video. But for today, for this video, we're going to talk about some upcoming releases and my thoughts on the releases that are coming up and where I see a lot of potential and little flags to look out for. And we're going to talk a little bit about pre-orders first. So as you guys can see, I'm no longer confined in my garage. It's going on winter here up north, fall for sure, but we've had some snow. So it's gotten a little cold to do this in my garage, so I decided I was going to relocate everything down to the basement, and that's what I've done. So what I didn't mention in other videos recently is, as a 50-year-old ADHD-driven stubborn mule of a man, I've been very slow to get around to doing pre-orders. I had to experience the frustration of collecting these classified first and seeing just where the wants and needs were. Pardon me while I scratch my eyes, gents. It's early. So everybody told me I should pre-order stuff, and I was very used to, okay, well, pre-ordering means you're gonna put a deposit down and then wait infinite amount of time just waiting for this figure. You know, that would have been my understanding of what pre-ordering was. And it wasn't until this last couple of waves I started seeing the advantage when you can't get things like the Cobra Eel anymore off the shelf, and that's where I first saw it. And so I've started doing pre-orders, and the last pre-order I did, I don't know if you guys have it up in down in the States there, but GameStop up here in Ottawa, Ontario, they don't require a down payment for any of the pre-orders that are under $100. So I've had my pre-order in for Hawk, Helix, Shockwave, Ripper, and Buzzer the whole time. And from what I'm understanding, it's pretty much any time now I'm expecting to see that Buzzer figure coming out and waiting for me on the shelf ahead of all the others. But I'm hoping that they all come within a couple of weeks of each other. But it's nice to pre-order and know that you're securing the figure. And so I went ahead and I did a couple more pre-orders today, and I'm just going to go through the pre-orders that are available to everybody up here in Canada. I think in the States, these are, the pre-orders came out earlier for you, or, you know, who knows, you guys might even have the figures, but you will get them before us. So the first pre-order I'm going to talk about today is Mut, because this is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Good old Mut. And this is going to be their new representation of the packaging that they're going. So they are going back to the plastic packaging in a more of a display style. The previous deluxe sets would have shown at best the digital rendering, and it would have been a larger box with a lot more kit strewn out here. And they've gone back to the earlier part of the classified where you just see everything, which is handy. I like being able to see everything in there. It makes it feel like you're getting that full content of the figure. So as you can see, this is everything we're getting with him, and we're just going to scroll there. This is how I remember my Mut. If you guys remember him at all, I remember him vividly because I got him on the same day I got Recondo. And we'll talk about that at another time, but and he was instantly my favorite because of the ferocity of that dog and the cool mask that he had with his helmet and the silencer on his pistol. I remember he had all of those things plus the Billy Club, and he was the first Joe that came out, and it was like, holy crap, this is the first Joe besides Snake Eyes that I felt like if you turned around a corner and he was there, you were screwed. And I really liked that character. And my uncle at the time, he was military serving in New Brunswick, and he explained to me what canine handlers are all about, and it was awesome. So this is what we're getting with the pardon me while I figure out my tablet here, with the Mut kit. And these are, I don't own any of these photos. I'm pulling these all off of Google, and if I'm doing anything wrong, I don't care. I don't know. Anyways, but guys, there you can see he's got his unloaded M16. This is I liked this because they really kind of showed for the first time why they're detaching the magazines from all the weapons and the Joes. Maybe it's not the first time, but it's a really noticeable, yeah, you know, like he just finished a firefight and the dog's sweating and he's telling the dog he's done done good, and he's taken his time to reload because everything's done and he's safe, right? So, and the weapon is completely safe at this point. The weapon has no source of ammunition. He's cleared it. And I think that's cool. Little details like that speak to a lot of the, like this, the photography aspects of these figures and the dioramas and things like that. You can see he's got his mask on there, and we know that we're getting two different heads with this dog, one where he's passive and one where he's aggressive. And you can see he's got his vest on there. Let's have a look at some of these other fantastic photos they've provided for that set. And then really what I'm also really excited about is the potential of these hands that they're throwing in with Mut. So they did it with Snake Eyes, they did it with Storm Shadow, they did it with Sergeant Slaughter, and maybe a couple others where the hand options are coming. And flesh tone hands are a commitment, but the hands are providing here, which are the gloved hands. And we'll go back to the first photo in the box, right? They're all gloved hands a la like Snake Eyes. So if you look at things like the steel corset and grunt and all these other possible army building figures that are coming out, having extra sets with gloves works with all the army builders, and quite honestly, having more potential for other figurines. So it's good that we see this coming in. Yes, these hands are all meant to be giving either a holding of something, or they're meant to be a dog signal. Like he's supposed to be, and we'll see that in the photos here. He is supposed to be giving his dog command signals. I'm just going to see if I can get an example of one. Right there, right? So he's giving a command signal to the dog. He's petting the dog. Let's see what else he's got for hands. Firefight, yeah. Okay, pointing, sitting, pointing again, asking for something, you know, like all these hands have a purpose, but on another figurine, if there's no dog there, you have no idea, right? While I've been talking about that, you see I've been scrolling through all those awesome photos they have of that, right? So there he is, he's telling his dog to stay, you know, telling Junkyard, stay, okay? While he crawls from one piece of cover to another. Why he doesn't have a helmet on, it's fine. But I really do dig the figure, and it's very much going to be a centerpiece of my collection. There it is. He's giving another command to the Junkyard there, right? And overall, I was happy to find out that I didn't have to put a down payment on to secure this either. So that was good. Another release that's coming out at the same time with the same packaging, we all know is going to be, pardon me, there we go. Oh, who is this again? It's on the tip of my tongue. Metalhead. I am not as excited about this, and quite honestly, I'm not really excited at all about it. However, that's not to say I'm not happy to buy it, but it's nowhere near the level of excitement I have for, say, putting in my pre-order for Junkyard and Mut, or if I had been able to do Tripwire and Snowjob and the other deluxe sets. I don't know when I'm ever going to be able to secure those. But this guy would have been on the last of the list, and it's strictly from a tactical perspective. Okay, as I go through the photos, I find this guy a little laughable, and I understand there's a lot of fans on this guy, and I get why. The Dreadnoks are popular, and you want to build up your Dreadnok army, and they provide you some pretty crazy assortment of over-the-top, almost Mad Max style characters, right? And so he fits right in. And then there's the Iron Grenadiers aspect of him, like whatever they're doing with that. We know we're going to get some Iron Grenadier troopers up at some point, and clearly he's going to be what's the word, mirroring, or what he wears is going to be a benchmark towards that. So with Scrap Iron, or not Scrap Iron, pardon me, Metalhead, is that his name? Metalhead? It seems right. Anyways, he's got these missile pods all over him, like he's a living weapons cell apparently, with the ability to flight and whatnot. This is the Fonzie jumping the shark kind of thing here that I'm not a fan of. It's the ballistic issues I see with this thing here. Like one, it's fine. He's got these high-tech missiles, and the launchers are all on these very small little pivot points, and I'm like, where's the stability? Where's the counter force for aiming and keeping things accurate? As far as I'm concerned, this guy's flying backwards because he launched that rocket and he has no self-control, right? That's how I see that photo. Over here now he's braced. That looks more like maybe he could try and fire a shoulder launched missile of some sort and it would be fine. Much better than jumping through the air like that to me is an accident. This is on purpose. And again, I have no problems with the hair sculpts. You're going to get a couple of hair sculpts. You're going to get a couple of visors with them. All the weapons he's coming with, great. I just am not a fan of this sci-fi ballistic harness that he's coming with at all. You will get blast effects, you will get missiles with this, and you will complete your Dreadnought collection with a very well sculpted and very creatively attacked figure. But at the same time, this guy, like I said, this is that's Fonzie jumping the shark, everybody. That's as far as I see it with that particular figure, but I'm still gonna get it because I want my Dreadnoughts complete. Coming soon, the ones that I am excited were the pre-orders. You heard me talk about it, guys. Okay, so a little bit of clarity on General Hawk. Okay, some things I've seen on other channels where you couldn't find the words or you couldn't find the understanding, or maybe you were a little off, right? So what are we getting with General Hawk? That's got me so excited. Okay, I don't care that I'm getting two sets of visors, one for the helmet and one for the hair. I don't. The helmet and the visor and that iconic face reminds me so much of Hawk that having this second set of visor, I'm going to forget about. I don't care. It's this jacket, the bomber jacket, the World War II style with that beat in leather patina. Okay. It is such a throwback, and guys of our generation are gonna love this jacket. The younger generation, they're probably gonna like it, but they won't be as connective to it as our generation. I think this to me is old John Wayne symbolism that we might have grown up with watching our dad watch TV. But it's everything we ever saw in World War II. Every cool lead character or whatever, at some point these beat up bomber jackets with that, and I say it, patina on it, are it's what makes that character almost iconic sometimes, and they've captured all of what you need on Hawk on there. The camouflage pants, those almost remind me of nunchucks, and I don't really care. I hope he won't come with 2 left feet like my nunchuck did. But let's talk about the weapons assortment and give this clarity. Okay, he's getting 2 pistols, so you can do that double down pose where he like they show. Wow, where did they show it? Right there, right? You're getting those 2 pistols. You're also getting a shotgun, right? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is like the 3rd time we've seen this shotgun. This is CoverGirl's shotgun repainted. It's going to Clutch, I believe, as well with the Vamp set, and he's getting it. And you're going to see it all in a flat military style black. Okay, this is not a shotgun. This is a grenade launcher, and I believe it is the same one that you get with the retro Gung Ho. Okay, so we're talking about that grenade launcher right there. All right, so these are recycled, but it's a good parallel use of them. The shotgun and the grenade launcher and 2 pistols. Like, Hawk is an augmentation force, right? So he is the command element everybody's going to be protecting. If he ever gets in trouble with Cobra, a lot of shit's gone wrong. Okay, like if Cobra is coming to his doorstep, a lot of other Joes failed. So close support weapons, like a grenade launcher to help his section that is defending him with standard munitions, giving him a grenade launcher or a breaching shotgun and a couple close combat. This all makes sense for him. It's a perfect loadout for General Hawk. All right, so that's the box you're gonna get. That's the back of it. This is just the photography. You can see him carrying that shotgun cautiously, kind of creeping around. Now he's pinned down. Oh my God, yeah, General Hawk's in trouble. Where's the other Joes in all of this? Okay, and now he's really in a lot of trouble. He's running for cover because, again, why is Hawk all out on his own? It's fine, but what a cool looking figure. I'm very excited. I wouldn't say equally as excited about, but the other pre-order I've got coming in is for Helix. The Helix, for those of us that are maybe drawing a blank on where she is. I looked around a little bit. This is a video game character that came out in the early 2000s, and it was popular enough. And so she's got, basically she is like the Taskmaster from Marvel Comics turned into a GI Joe. If you understand that reference, great. If you don't, Taskmaster could analyze a person's fighting style and mimic it, or expose the flaws in it, and get vital strikes easily, because he understands everything about how you fight. And that is essentially what Helix is supposed to be bringing to the table, without having read much more about it. She's going to be kind of a lone operative, and there's going to be a history there. There's a story about a band-aid that you'll see on the sculpt, but the weapons loadout and the colors are kind of what I liked about this. I like these Gurkha style almost fighting machete there. I don't know if that's the same. That's definitely not the same one we got with Recondo. I don't know if this is the same one you get with Copperhead. I don't think it is. I think that's a new combat style, but you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. A couple katanas. This is nothing new. With the yellow hilts to match her suit. Fine, it works. I can't criticize the loadout too much, because this is based on the comic character and not an original Joe that I had when I was a kid. So this is all fresh and new. I don't know if these mags on the extended mags on her 9mm are removable or not. I don't know if I ever saw anything in the photos would denote that they were, but I kind of hoping they're not, because I'm getting a little tired of smaller and smaller pieces. And mags were already pushing it. Having a big rifle mag that you could detach for dioramic purposes, great. Having a bunch of small pistol mags just floating around, especially if they're not really tight fit, no, I'm not a fan. So I hope those are welded in there. And then these Lotus blades, or whatever they're calling them, I'm not sure if they have an articulate hinge point or not. I feel like that's an articulate hinge point. So I think these can be extended outward, which would be neat. But they definitely are meant to be collapsed on her arms like this. So I do think that's definitely a hinge point. But as far as the max extension of these, I'd be careful and wonder if that's going to be a brittle piece of kit. But overall, I'm excited about this figure. Joe doesn't have a lot of females diversity in here, and Hasbro is really trying. In this woke culture, and I'm not trying to slam woke culture or anything. I'm not putting an opinion out there. I was really surprised they didn't find a way to adapt this character to modern culture a little bit more. Maybe make her more androgynous, or make her a different ethnicity completely, even Middle Eastern, because that is the low-hanging fruit on a lot of intellectual properties that aren't fully developed already, or are being re-released and felt out in the market. And I was kind of waiting for one. With Jodie Shooter Craig, I believe it is. Clearly she's a minority female, and it's fantastic. It's great. They found an opportunity. Shooter was an old character from the #1 issue of G.I. Joe, I think, where they had a name, but you never met them. So they had free range. But with Helix, I guess that, having it carved out in the comics, they were true to it, and in the video game, and they were true to it, and I respect it. I was really happy about it, but again, like I said, you don't get a lot of original diversity as much in the female Joes as much as you do with the guys. And even then, I imagine people might say that it's a bit low on the ethnic diversity side, but I would disagree. I'd say they're doing the best they can with the intellectual properties they have. And when the time comes, they have, when the opportunity comes to be diverse, they're trying their best, especially with army builder kits and other things like that. So that's enough of that virtuous stuff. Anyways, so there she is again. I love that photo. That was enough to sell it to me, and I was like, yeah, I'll get that. Anyways, enough about Helix. We'll talk about the next one on the list, Shockwave. Okay, I think everybody on some level is waiting on a Shockwave. And I know I have been especially excited about it, not because I had him as a guy, as a figure. I don't think I did. I think my cousin had him. What it is this Riot Shield to me is fantastic. And there's 2 Cobras out there with Riot Shields already, and I don't see a Joe out there. And it's an important thing. Riot control is a subtask for military sometimes. So we have this now. Clearly, it's what's his name again? Jason Shockwave Faria. I think he's supposed to represent Brazilian police or something to that effect. But with the it doesn't matter. He's a Joe. And he'll fit in beautifully with the collection, that blue camouflage print with the removable hat. And then again, that beachhead balaclava look to him, right? Which we're seeing that reused a few times, that neck now, because that's the one you're getting in your Steel Core set as well. So very excited about having a pre-order in for him, guys, and I can't wait to get all that together. Like I said, finally, I'm getting a Joe with a Riot Shield. And I love seeing things like this, guys. That little notch on the end of that blade, if I'm not mistaken, right there, that's part of a wire cutter. He would notch it. He would clip it with his knife set or use it to cut wire. Like that's a wire cutter. Or if they've got a single post, and I hope they do, you could turn the 2 into a cutting set of some sort. And it's just interesting. It's saying that I know for a fact, I looked at the Hasbro website, and they are hiring like Naval Reserve for part of their, I guess, creative teams. And God, I wish they would call me. But it shows they're paying attention to what the guys are saying. They're like, hey, why don't you throw that in? And why don't you throw that in? These are subtle little free tips that you could throw into the figure that make it all modern, right? So I love that. He's got those mini Uzi, like, what are they, 9mm automatic pistols coming. Great stuff. Okay, so that is also out there on the pre-order that I have in. Like I said, I don't have Buzzer and Ripper in here because everything you see when we're talking about the pre-orders these days has been about Buzzer and Ripper. There's so many videos about what to expect with Buzzer and Ripper, Buzzer and Ripper, Buzzer and Ripper. I'm just not planning on getting into it. I'll talk a little bit more about a couple things I wish I would see on the Vamp. I've already done a video on the Vamp when I assessed whether the price was going to be fair or not, in my opinion. Just a couple things I would have liked to have seen on the Vamp that would have made a little bit more sense, but maybe drove the cost up on one of them is there was something that was bothering me about it. I mean, overall, I think it's going to be fantastic, and it mirrors the original like I had on Christmas morning as a kid. Oh my God, I'm so excited about it. Clutch, I'm very excited about all this. But having some time in under my belt and things like this, 2 things I find are missing besides doors, which is whatever. There wasn't doors on the original, but every other Vamp after started throwing in some protection for Clutch. I would like to have seen an armored plated windshield attachment, like on the Humvees and armored vehicles that are used in combat zones in real life. Just some vision slits behind armored plating that you can clip onto that. So if you remember, guys, with the Vamp, it never had a piece of glass in it before. If I remember right, the original Vamp, it was open fronted. It was just a roll cage. We've added, or Hasbro has added, a windshield. All right, great. That makes perfect sense, but I would like to see the capability and the conversion potential of just a simple plate with window slits slapped into the front of that. I think that changes the dynamic of the vehicle, and I think conversion guys are going to be doing it anyways. I'm going to probably do one, and we'll see future Vamps with them anyways, so I think they should probably have just slipped one into this Vamp in the olive drab green, because you're going to see it with the whatever the other Vamps are. I can't remember them off the top of my head. All right, so that's the only things I wish I would see on the Vamp is that, and a GPS antenna on somewhere over here. I would like to see some sort of antenna assembly for comms, right? Like either right here on this part where they've put in the inverted US flag, you know, God love you as America. I would like to see a GPS antenna or just a small antenna of some sort to denote that this thing has some comms range and therefore is a good scouting vehicle, rescue vehicle, personal support vehicle of some kind. It can get, because it can talk to other troops. I don't see any capability of doing that. But that's just it. That's the little details, right? So conversion guys, be prepared. But that's, and then the last one, just really quick, we'll talk about the Techno Viper and the MSS. The only reason I'm bringing this one up is I do plan on getting it, but I'm not as excited about this because I didn't get the His tank to do it. I didn't buy into the HasLab project, and I really don't have what the equivalent, I don't know what it is in America. I think it's like 300 American or 200 American or whatnot, but that's a heavier investment in Canada. And well, I mean, I could buy it. It wouldn't be a sound financial day, and I would miss my family a lot if I just went around buying His tanks all willy-nilly. So it lowers the priority of this I want for display purposes only. All right, guys, that is it about the upcoming pre-orders and kind of what I'm thinking about them. Again, sorry I didn't get into Buzzer and Ripper, but there's a ton of other videos on that. Is it worth doing? Absolutely. GameStop here in Canada doing the pre-orders with no down payment whatsoever under $100 sets is great. And even on the Vamp, I already know they're going to be charging me a $10 down payment on the pre-order. Well worth it when that vehicle is going to be sitting at around 160 anyway, or 150 anyways, or under. And I don't mind doing a $10 deposit to secure something better like that. What I don't like is being asked to put down any kind of percentage deposit on something that I'm not able to physically look at and inspect right away. That makes me nervous to do that. It feels like a commitment to that, but to do it at no cost, it's because they know these things will sell. Even if I don't want it, the guy standing behind me is going to want it, right? So it's going to sell. It's not going to be a problem. So I really think that any store that's demanding a down payment on these figures, that speaks to the store's history and not the product's history. And I would question it. All right. If a store is demanding down payments, I think it's because their clientele has shown them that they need to do that. I wouldn't persistently go to that store. I would move to the next store. That's all I would do about that. I mean, you cheer for the little guys. You hope that they're going to give you the great deals and that their strategies are going to work for them as a business. But when they don't work for you, you shouldn't feel overly committed to stay with those people. And I'm not saying that because that's happened to me. I'm saying that because I hear it a lot in some of the more passionate and emotionally driven videos about the classified lines. Guys who want to say what's going on out there in the streets about classified that they're not particularly fans of. I don't feel the need, but I am listening. I am listening to those videos and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, okay, that does suck for them. And yeah, so that's why I'm doing videos like this. It's kind of just saying, like, I acknowledge all these problems, guys, but there's other avenues. Have a look around, especially guys my age. If you're like me and you're stubborn to do what everybody else is doing, at least go do the pre-orders. And if you can't get them at no down payment, then don't bother. Just check somewhere else. All right, guys, that's it for today. I've been the crusty old crow. My next video is going to be after I go out and do some socializing today and get my kid where he needs to go, and that one will be about the steel core. We'll see you then. All right, take care. Bye.